and of course, share your favorite business analysis technique. So the tools and techniques microclass is really focused on learning more about the business analysis tools and techniques. The Babok has over 50 techniques. There are way more techniques than we have in the business analysis body of knowledge. So this microclasses are going to help you learn more about the techniques. Some you may never have used, some you're wondering how they're being used. And today we're going to really focus on techniques that I typically use when I'm looking at enterprise analysis, strategic analysis within the enterprise. So please feel free to tell us who you are, where you're joining us from. See people in the US, Belgium, Australia, so South Africa, USA, London, fantastic, Johannesburg, okay, that is fantastic. Nigeria, beautiful. What do you do for work? What's your current job title? I believe that we're all business analysts regardless of our job titles, and I always like to know what job titles people have, because I find that, it's not about the job title, and people have very, very interesting job titles these days. One of my colleagues in the Calgary chapter of IIBA here in Canada told me yesterday that his company has changed the title for all the business analysts across board. The whole company, nobody bears business analyst anymore, and they're now all called product analysts. Some are just being called consultants now. Some are called strategy analysts. Like, it is amazing how we're seeing companies, adopt, the different roles within business analysis. Fantastic. Love that. So many BAs here. Love that. My name is Eno Eka. As Babawa had said, I am a business analysis coach and consultant. I used to be an accountant, and I became a business analyst. And due to that, I've been able to grow my consulting practice as a business analyst consultant. And I help professionals land and transition into business analysis roles. I also help companies as well leverage business analysis within their enterprise. I also develop content for business analysis. I teach business analysis at the University of Manitoba and Director of Education at Calgary chapter. I love what I do with business analysis. Therefore, that's all my company is about. It is about strategic business consulting, helping other small and medium businesses leverage technology, improve their business processes, and of course, increase their revenue. Also, with the BA School, what we focus on is helping professionals leverage this fantastic career called business analysis. With the work that I do, I've won awards, like Bawa said, so many of them, being featured on online media and all of that fantastic stuff. And that is because I've been able to embrace what I do with business analysis and showcase it to the world. Regardless of what you do at work today, build your personal brand, build your thought leadership, and of course, showcase what we do as business analysts, because the work that we do is amazing. So across board, I am very, very involved in a lot of agility, and that's why I have a couple of, Agile certifications from the IIBA and other professional bodies. So my journey into tech, started years ago when I was just really bored with my accounting career and I wanted more, in my life. And I found business analysis. I love solving problems. I am very in nature, and business analysis was just the perfect path for me. And this has helped me to change my career and my life. This was me years ago before I became a business analyst, and now I have become, one of the able mentors in 2021 for the IIBA. Fantastic. However, the work that I do transcends just my own career, but other people. So I'm definitely passionate about helping business analysts with their careers. And of course, when the South Africa chapter reached out to me and said, hey, Eno, we want you to come speak about, tools and techniques, I was excited because that's what I love to do. I love to help people, leverage their potentials within business analysis. So run through of all the speaking engagements that I do and how I help, companies, and how I actually get to speak about it on TV, fun stuff that we do as business analysts. So that's a bit about me. Business analysis has definitely changed my life. And I hope it's doing the same for you as we have other business analysts, in this meeting. So what is business analysis? I like to always define business analysis simply because it definitely always drives the conversation. So according to the BA box, is the practice of enabling change in an organizational context by defining needs and recommending solutions. that deliver value to stakeholders. Now, some key concepts there are change, organizational context, the need, solution, value, and stakeholders. So any work that we're doing that's enabling change, any work we're doing within an organization, any work we're doing that is defining needs, any work that we're doing that is recommending solutions, any work that we're doing that is delivering value to our stakeholders is business analysis. As long as we are doing it within some set of tasks and techniques under the BABOK framework. And the BA is the person who is performing all the tasks, regardless of your job title and the organizational role. And that's why I always like to hear what titles people have, because I believe it transcends beyond the title, but the tasks that you actually do carry out. If your day-to-day tasks involve understanding enterprise problems, analyzing needs and solutions, devising strategies, driving change, facilitating stakeholder collaboration, you're practicing business analyst, and you are a business analyst. So what is an enterprise? Because I said strategic techniques, for enterprise analysis. So what is an enterprise? Enterprise is a word that we see or we hear all the time within the business analysis community. It is basically a system of one or more organizations or the solutions they use to pursue a set of common goals. So as long as they are pursuing a set of common goals, they are an enterprise. It could be the same processes that they use across board. It could be the same tools they use. It could be the same information that they use. A bank is an enterprise with all the multiple branches that they have because they use the same core banking solution. They have the same processes. A Walmart is an enterprise. All of when you think about, a system of organizations that come together to actually carry out the same goal. What is the goal? We want you to be able to carry out your banking needs. We want you to be able to, buy your daily groceries here and all the, all the things you want to purchase in our stores, in every Walmart that you walk into. That is an enterprise. So there are, within business analysis, the enterprise boundaries can be defined relative to the change and need and not constrained by the boundaries of a legal entity or the organizational unit. Sometimes it could actually even be within, that enterprise. There can be several organizations that have the same goal, and within those boundaries, we could have an enterprise there as well. So it could be business, government, or any type of organization. That is an enterprise. So what is enterprise analysis? It's basically the BA activities that you carry out to identify a business need, problem, or opportunity. You're trying to define the nature of a solution that meets that need and justify the investment necessary to deliver that solution. Basically, you're saying, okay, we've identified a need right now within the business. It's either a problem or an opportunity. So what are the solutions available? How do we actually, meet that need? And how do we go about with, justifying the investment that's required, whether it's monetary investment, whether it's human resource investment, whatever it is, we have to justify it. So when enterprise analysis happens, it's often at the starting point of a new project, right? We're going to look at the need that we have right now and see if it makes sense for us to go ahead. And of course, throughout the life cycle of the project, it continuously changes as more information becomes available. And once we're able to complete enterprise analysis, then we can now start to identify the business requirements, document the business requirements, and have a clear understanding of our business goals and objectives. So if you take notes, when I talked about business analysis, I had a magnifying glass here, because with business analysis, we're looking into the business. We're trying to, see what we're doing day to day, the solutions that we're recommending. We're looking at all the projects that are happening. We're delivering value to stakeholders. We're looking into the business. However, when we're carrying out enterprise analysis, we're more or less using a magnifying glass. We're looking into the future. We're looking at what we want to do in the next 5 or 10 years. We're looking at what the problems we have now and how we can actually sustainably solve those problems. So enterprise analysis is very, very futuristic. We're looking at the big picture. That's what happens. So what are the activities that really happen during enterprise analysis? We analyze the business situation in order to fully understand the business problems and opportunities. We assess the capabilities of the enterprise in order to understand the change needed to meet business needs and achieve strategic goals. We determine the most feasible business solution approach. We define the solution scope and develop the business case for a proposed solution. We define and document business requirements. That includes the business needs, the capabilities, solution scope, and the business case. So like I said earlier, during enterprise analysis, we're looking at the change, the need that we have right now, and the change that we need to carry out to actually meet that business need. And we want to make sure that whatever we're doing, it is the most feasible business solution. And we want to look into the future and say, in 5 years from now, can we actually say that this investment, gave us the return that we expected? Can we actually say that we got value? So that's what happens during enterprise analysis. Why is it so important? Well, the activities are typically carried out with senior executives, management, because like I said, we're thinking broad picture. We're not looking at operational day-to-day activities. This typically happens on a strategic and sometimes the tactical level of the business. It enables us to determine longer-term business needs over a multi-year horizon. It provides strategic direction for the business. It provides the opportunity to explore multiple solutions, and of course, enables us to prioritize effectively. So we're going to look at 3 strategic techniques for enterprise analysis. There's a lot of techniques we can use, but I picked out 3 of my favorite techniques for enterprise analysis. Business capability analysis. What's this technique about? It basically describes what an enterprise or a part of an enterprise is able to do. Business capabilities describe the ability of an enterprise to act on or transform something that helps achieve a business goal or objective. So what does capabilities mean? These are the abilities of an enterprise to perform or transform something that helps us achieve a business goal or objective. So at every point in time, when we recognize a need in the business, one of the first things we should do is to actually do a capability analysis. So we have this business need. Well, are we actually able to provide a solution? Can we sustainably, carry out any action with regards to this business need? This need that we have, does it align with our business goals? Are we capable of this? Do we have the right technology? Do we have the right human resources? Do we have the financial capability? So what this does is actually tell you, are we actually able to do the things that we want to do? So in the Baybook, we have the capability map. This is an example of what it could look like. There are so many types and so many templates actually online, but based off what we saw in the Baybook, this is one of the examples that the IIGA showed us when it comes to doing capability analysis, looking at different areas within the business and the different functions and saying, right now, what value does this provide to the business? What value does it provide to the customer, right? What are the performance gaps for us? Do we need to probably improve our training? Maybe our staff are not well trained. Do we need mentoring with regards to personal development within management as well? What are the areas that we need, some level of improvement? What are our performance gaps? And then, of course, ranked as well with regards to the risk, to the business. So with this capability map, you're seeing that you can actually tell how well we're doing in different areas of the business. And that helps us to determine, are we actually able to carry out this project? Do we have everything that we need? Are we capable? Can we actually do it? So it gives that, it's very visual, and it gives you that idea of where we are right now and where we need to be, because you can easily see the gaps and, of course, create a strategy to close those gaps. This is another example of the capability map as well within an enterprise as well, looking at all the different departments and, of course, the different functions in those departments. And based off of that, you can actually identify the different areas and say, are we there yet? Do we have the right abilities? What's lacking in these areas? It's just a way for us to really just diagnose where we are at that point in time, and this helps us to really plan for the future. So why should you consider the BA business capability maps? Well, it provides a shared articulation of outcome, strategy, and performance, which helps create very focused and aligned initiatives. It helps align business initiatives across multiple aspects of the organization, and it is useful when assessing the ability of an organization to offer new products and new services. because at every point in time, we want to make sure that whatever gaps are there, we're able to carry out a gap analysis and close those gaps. We want to also make sure that whatever we're doing is actually providing business value and customer value. So, this is an important technique to use while we're carrying out enterprise analysis. It's a very strategic technique. It's very high level, but it helps you to see the big picture compared to carrying out, day-to-day operational activities. The business case. The business case is another technique that we would use when we're carrying out enterprise analysis. The business case provides a justification for a course of action based on the benefits to be realized by using the proposed solution as compared to the cost, the effort, and other considerations to acquire and live with that solution. So I really love the business case because I believe we all do it, every day in our lives. And even at work, this is a fantastic technique to use as the business analyst because the business is depending on you to recommend solutions. And once we're carrying out a new project, a new initiative, we need to justify that, the benefits will actually be realized. The benefits could be anything, right? It could be financial, it could be, it could be goodwill, it could be reputation, it could be customer satisfaction, whatever benefits we want to realize with that proposed solution, we need a justification to say, can we even afford it? Not just now, but in long term. Do we even have the effort? Do we have the human capabilities and resources to carry this out? What are the risks involved in carrying out this initiative? So being able to ask ourselves those questions and carry out some analysis helps us to actually think about multiple solutions. Should we do nothing? Should we keep what we currently have? Should we upgrade it? Should we review this in the next 6 months? Business cases are fantastic for us to actually look at where we are today and say, yes, we want to scale this business. Yes, we want to, move into a new region. Yes, we want to move into a new continent, but are we capable of actually doing this? So it captures the rationale for undertaking a change because sometimes not every change needs to be carried out. A business case is frequently presented in a formal document or may be presented through informal methods, depending on the level of abstraction with your stakeholders. So it's a fantastic technique to actually analyze the enterprise. And this is an example of a one-pager business case. Sometimes business cases could actually be formal documents that are actually multiple pages, but this is the one-pager that actually just states, first of all, what is our strategy? Here we can see that for this business case, the strategy is to implement an IVR, a voice recognition system, for the call center. So they want to ensure that calls are dealt with efficiently, and they say that this aligns with the company strategy. So the first thing is, does this actually align with the company strategy? And then what are the solution options? So solution options here are adding additional staff to the sales team, having a dedicated team, and of course, an IVR system, which they have probably selected the vendor. And then we look at the benefits to the business. What are the benefits? Increased sales, happier customers, improved lifetime value of the customers. And of course, there are certain metrics that have been provided there. What is the time scale to actually deliver and implement this? We're looking at 3 to 4 months. What is the cost of doing this? The cost of the software, the cost of project management, the cost of the team, and also you should also be looking at the cost of maintenance as well. So putting all this cost into consideration, does it make sense for us to go ahead with carrying out this project? And then we do some financial analysis with some ROI, return on investment, and saying, in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, this is the return we're going to have, or it's going to be in year 3 that we start to see the benefits of, this project. So it helps us look into the future before we even start to carry out any project. Like I said before, these techniques are very strategic. They look at, a multi-year horizon. They don't just look at today or tomorrow. They look at the future. And that is why they're strategic techniques and they're relevant in enterprise analysis. And of course, we look at the risks of doing any project because there are definitely some uncertainties around carrying out our projects. So we look at the risks and say, if there are any known or unknown risks and, what we plan to do to mitigate those risks. So this is a, fantastic technique, within enterprise analysis when carrying out that task. So why should you consider business cases? It provides an amalgamation of complex facts, issues, and analysis required to make decisions regarding the change. It's really just so simple and easy. And when you're dealing with senior management, you want to just come to them with, with the facts, make it concise and straight to the point. And that is what the business case does. Is this a go or a no-go, like we say, in project management? Provides a detailed financial analysis of costs and benefits. As someone with a financial background, I always do this simply because it gives you that clear picture. Are we able to do this? Do we actually have the financial resources to carry this out? It provides guidance on ongoing decision making throughout the initiative. It definitely serves as a reference document that we can always refer to during the project in case we're losing focus of our goals, or we need to even update our business case because prices or fees could go up. Anything could happen. Maybe we have also, we need to hire more staff and that increases our costs. All of that needs to come back into the business case. And of course, we adjust the business case. So it's a living document. It's not something that we just do and forget about. It's a living document and it guides the work that we do throughout enterprise analysis. The business model canvas. I love this, this technique because it really also is very visual and it really creates, it creates sort of a visual model that once this is done in every business, especially with startups, I see that, something you can put on the wall and everybody can actually see, every day, what we want to create, how we're going to deliver it, how we're going to capture value for our customers and of course from our customers. There are 9 building blocks in the business model canvas, and these different 9 building blocks show us how the organization is going to deliver value. They include the key partnerships, key activities, key resources, value proposition, customer relationships, the channels, the customer segments, the cost structure, and the revenue streams. So these building blocks are actually arranged on a canvas, and it shows the relationship between the organization's operations, finance, customers, and the service offerings. The business model canvas also serves as a blueprint for implementing a strategy. Okay, so this is an example of what the visual looks like. And, in the BA box, this is what we were showing as a business model canvas. This is what it typically looks like. And all of these techniques as well, you can carry them out using some modeling tools and some visual tools like Lucy Charts. There are templates in there already that you can just key in your different key in the different features or into them. So key partnerships, key activities, value proposition, customer relationships, you're able to actually see it there. And this is fantastic because you can create a board and with sticky notes, put in all the different variables here. And it's just easy for everyone to see. And at every point in time, we can see what is changing. Does our value proposition change? Are our partnerships changing? Has our cost increased? Have we added new revenue streams? We're able to actually see it. So it's very visual and it's also very strategic. So within the different sections, there are some certain questions that you would ask yourself and ask your team members as you build out your business model canvas. I really do love this, these techniques we're talking about because they're very collaborative. You don't do them by yourself as a BA. You work with your team and you're able to ask yourself questions and your team questions while you're carrying out this technique. So the customer segments is the first area that we're looking at. And what happens here is you ask yourself, who are your customers? What target demographics are you hoping to serve? Are your consumers B2C or are they B2B? At that point, you're identifying who your customers are, your value proposition. How are you addressing customer problems? How can your business or product offer to address those problems? Who should your customers prefer your business or product over? Why should your customers rather prefer your business or product over your competitors? And what makes your product or your business unique? And you're able to answer these questions and put them on that board so you can actually see what makes you stand out, what makes you different, what value do you offer who are your customers? In the third section, under customer relationships, we're going to be looking at what kind of relationship will you have with your customers? Are your customers autonomous? Do they require support? Are they a community? How will you serve them? How will you communicate with your customers? What tone will you use with your customers? How do you plan to retain your customers? How do you want to build relationships with them? So this is where you create a strategy for building and maintaining customer relationships. The fourth section is distribution channels. Okay, do you own channels? What channels do you operate, and how you use those channels to reach your customers? What third-party channels will you also use to promote your business or your products? How will customers find your business or find your product? This is where you create the strategy as well for your distribution channel. The key activities you carry out. What activities must be done in-house to create and deliver value? Which activities can be outsourced? Because at that point in time, you want to understand what are the value adding activities and what are the non-value adding activities. What are the activities that would always help us satisfy our customers and deliver value? So you want to ensure you understand the key activities you carry out within the business and create a strategy for that. Key resources. What are the key resources that are needed to deliver the value to your customers? Human resources, financial, material, whatever resources you need, you put that as well on the canvas. What resources are needed to manage the customer relationship, and what resources are you currently lacking? So it's a way to actually identify gaps as well within the business. Your key partners, your key partnerships. Who are your partners that you cannot do business without? Who are your suppliers? Who are your advocates? Who are your strategic partners? So this is where you actually identify them and start to list them and place them on the canvas and create a strategy to build and maintain this relationship. Revenue streams, really important. How does your business make money? Do you sell one-off products or services? Do you sell subscriptions? Do you sell memberships? How much are customers willing to pay for your products and your services? This is how you create a long-term strategy and understand how you're going to build cash flow within the business. And understanding your cost structure as well is the 9th block inside of the business model canvas. So what are the hard costs associated with your business activities? What are the resource costs associated with your business activities? Where and how are these costs allocated? And how can you also fund, all these activities within your business? So these 9 building blocks are really important for you to get that big picture and know this is where we're at. This is what we can do. These are the things that we cannot do. This is the strategy we're going to use to accomplish it. So it is also a strategic technique that helps us look at where we're at and also look at the future as well. This is an example of a business model canvas. This is for YouTube, and it was created by the business model analyst, right? And using the same 9 building blocks and key partners, activities, how YouTube typically makes money and how they build customer relationships, what is their value proposition, and what are their customer segments. So not just the viewers, we have the creators as well as their customers. We have advertisers as the customers of YouTube. The key partners is basically Google, because YouTube rides on the Google AdSense. The resources that YouTube uses are the Google algorithm, the Google database, and the Google platform. The key activities on YouTube are basically development of that platform, of YouTube constantly developing the platform, optimizing the ads, and of course, reviewing the content posted on YouTube. And the value proposition for YouTube is to discover and watch videos on demand for free. You're able to display your content and make money as a creator. And of course, you're able to advertise to a targeted audience. The channels that YouTube uses are the website, mobile app, smart TV. And of course, people can actually have favorite channels on YouTube. How does YouTube build their customer relationship? They do it through customizing the feed towards the things that you like, using the algorithm. They also use reviews. The channels that get the most reviews get the best views. Channels as well that have a lot of engagement and have built a community would always be put in front and center for the viewers. And of course, we have the YouTube studio for creators as well, where creators are able to build out their channels. Cost structure, of course, maintaining, developing the YouTube platform, paying employees, and of course, hosting their data centers are some costs that YouTube would incur. But also for revenue, they make revenue through the ads. YouTube is free for everyone, but of course, you have to watch the ads, or you can pay for YouTube Premium. And what happens is that you don't get to see ads, but you get to pay a monthly subscription as well. And then YouTube also makes money from paid ads, from paid advertisers as well. So this is a business model canvas, and this also see where they're at right now. And of course, if they wanted to address a new a business need, whether it was a problem or opportunity, they would come back to this drawing board and say, this business need we have identified, how does it align with our current strategy, and what can we do to actually implement this? The Netflix business model as well. This is a business model canvas created by Gary Fawkes for the Netflix business model. And if you're a business owner here or you work within a business, I definitely recommend using this technique. But it just helps you see the big picture, and you can actually identify the gaps, and of course you can create a change strategy. The key partners for Netflix, they have investors, they're a public company, they have media producers who produce documentaries and movies on the platform, the filmmakers as well, cinemas and theaters, TV networks, Amazon AWS, where all the videos are hosted on the cloud, consumer and electronic companies as well. Because right now, if you buy a smart TV, there's a Netflix app already on your smart TV, and of course the regulators within the media industry. Key activities that are carried out within the Netflix company are technology R&D, content licensing, content production, content distribution, data analytics, sales and marketing. Key resources are within Netflix business model is the brand itself, the apps, the website, the platform. The employees are key resources there. The filmmakers and producers who constantly produce content. And then, of course, they provide prizes and awards for, the best, series or documentaries. Value propositions. What's the value proposition for Netflix as a company? 24/7 on-demand entertainment, high-definition shows and movies, ability to stream content, anywhere in the world, unlimited access, Netflix original movies and series. They have a free trial, and they have no commercials as long as you're paying your subscription, right? How do they build customer relationships? Self-service. You can operate, Netflix on the go. It's on demand. Operated through your web, through the website, through the mobile app on your TV, and it's pretty easy to use. The channels that Netflix uses to, provide the service to their clients. Any device, it works on any device, Android, iOS, name it. There's an app. You through word of mouth as well. People talk about the current shows they're watching. There's a lot of advertising that goes on as well for Netflix series and originals, and then of course through their social media channels, online. Who's the customer segment for Netflix? Basically, anyone who likes to watch movies, series, anyone who wants to stream movies and series on demand, on the go. Cost structure. What are the cost structures there? Of course, they pay for production. They do a lot of R&D, licensing of those movies and series. Of course, their infrastructure, because they have to store, the content on the cloud. Marketing campaigns, payments processing for the monthly subscriptions, and of course, other admin expenses. But the revenue streams that Netflix gets are subscription model, product placement, as well within their original series. DVD rental, I'm not sure they do DVD rental anymore, but that used to be a revenue stream for them. They used to actually ship out DVDs to their clients. And then, of course, licensing of the Netflix owned content. So this is a way that you can actually see where they are right now, and of course, where they want to be in the future. So it's a very strategic technique. It is widely used. A lot of companies use it, and regardless of the size of the company, you can do a business model canvas to understand and optimize your business model. It's simple to use. It's easy to understand. It is very visual, and within a glance, you can actually see where you are and, of course, where you want to be. So what are the benefits of adopting these strategies when analyzing the enterprise? There's a couple of them. I listed 3. These are my 3 favorite ones. There's so many other techniques you can use. And of course, as you go through the series, you get to be exposed to more techniques from the other speakers. But these techniques that I highlighted help us analyze the current state. You're able to see where you are right now. And this is a very important thing, because if you don't know where you are right now, how can you know where you want to be in the future? And we call this the current state, the as is, right now, right here, where we are, what we're doing. We can clearly define the business needs. We can say, this is where we are. Well, we see a need here. Maybe there's an opportunity in this area. Can we explore it? You're able to set a baseline for the change. If you're carrying out the change, we know that we're not just carrying out the change from anywhere. There's a baseline. It starts from somewhere. We're improving on the existing model. Define your transition and future state. So once you know where you are right now, you know the as is, you can create the to be, which is the future, and everything you need to transition into the future of where you need to be in the company. You define your business goals and objectives. You're able to set up very smart objectives that you can accomplish. You understand the uncertainties around the change. You're able to plan and address the risk around the change that you're going to carry out. You perform a gap analysis between the current and the future state, because this techniques help you to see where you are and, of course, where you need to be. You understand your capabilities, what you're actually able to do, and, of course, how you can, create a change strategy. So you assess the options for achieving the future state, and you know the different options available for you using this technique. Enterprise analysis should be done using strategic techniques every time a new business need is identified. So whenever we identify a new business need, the first thing we should really do is, take on one of these strategic techniques and do a current state analysis, analysis and understand where you are right now and how you can fit into the future if you're actually capable of carrying out that change. So while this is mostly done at the start of the project, like I said earlier, people do this at the start of a project. Okay, before we start this project, let's carry out some strategy analysis. Let's see where we are right now. This is something we should actually continuously do. It should be an ongoing activity that constantly assesses the changes to the needs. And of course, any new information that would bring about an adjustment is not something we should do one-off. It should be something that we do constantly, so that we always have, the end goal in mind. We're always reviewing the current state as things change. And of course, we're making changes to our business model canvas, our business case, or our business capability map. Thank you so much. And please feel free to share your questions in the chat or with the moderators. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for such an insightful presentation, Eno. We really appreciate your time. There's a few questions in the chat. There's one regarding the business case. So the question here is, how do we, would you also consider the cost of doing nothing when completing a business case? So when you were showing that one page of business case, I think that refers to that. And then another one that relates to the same is, have you got any nuggets to share regarding benefits tracking for both waterfall and agile initiatives?
Fantastic. All right. So whenever you're preparing your business case, I always would say, yes, the cost of doing nothing should be included in your business case, because like I said, we want to look at several options. And of course, doing nothing is always an option. But what will be the cost of us doing nothing? Are we eventually going to even lose more customers, for example, if that was, the existing problem? So showing the cost of doing nothing also helps to tell the business that this is the reason why we need to either carry out this change or we do not carry out this change. So yes, including the cost of doing nothing is definitely recommended on your business case. Have you got any nuggets to share? We benefit tracking for both waterfall and agile initiatives. So with regards to benefits tracking, the benefits, whether you're using waterfall or agile, at the start of your project, while you're carrying out some strategic analysis, you would have some outcomes in mind, right? So being able to track your benefits could be, using any of these techniques, maybe coming back to to the drawing board to say, have we been able to actually achieve these outcomes, whether it was customer satisfaction, whether it was revenue, have we been able to achieve that? And that comes from doing evaluation. So doing solution evaluation, what we'll tend to do is do a benefits realization session to understand if we have actually met the benefits that we were projecting, at the start of the project. And it should be done regardless of being in the waterfall or agile initiative. But during the agile initiative, we definitely see that happen when we're doing our retrospective, where we're talking about what we were able to ship during the sprint, and talking about how benefits was realized and what we can do better, how we can improve on things. That could also happen, during the retrospective. What about non-profit-driven organizations or departments that are non-profit generating? How does one depict the revenue structures? So for a non-profit, I don't believe that there's still a way that every department can contribute to the bottom line, even if they're just maybe administrative, or they're maybe customer support, or they are in the non-profit. I'm just thinking of what they could be doing, because the truth is every department, whether their role is operational, day-to-day operational duties, they still contribute to the bottom line somehow. If they're able to keep customers satisfied, then we can retain customers, and you can always come back to buy from us. But then again, the benefits as well might not always be monetary. It could just be maybe increasing satisfaction, improving reputation, all of that.
There are some questions in the Q&A as well. One from Mohammed says, is SWOT analysis considered a sub-technique under the umbrella of business capability technique, or is it a separate, different technique? So he's asking if it falls under the umbrella of business capability, or is it separate?
I see that. So the SWOT analysis is also a fantastic strategic technique. It's a technique on its own, where you analyze the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Some other, good strategic techniques are like the PEST analysis, as well, the Porter's 5 forces. These are also some good techniques that are used when you're doing like benchmarking and market analysis. SWOT analysis as well is a technique in itself that you can actually use to carry out enterprise analysis. That's a good question. Great question, Mohammed. Okay, Matimo says, can this be done by a BA manager or a BA? Both, actually. It could be done by the BA manager or the BA. As a business analyst, a lot of times you might find your work cuts across the strategic, tactical, or the operational level. If you find yourself across the strategic and tactical, you would always be using these techniques as well.
All right. One of the other questions here from Matimo as well is asking on the techniques that you shared, option number 1 and 3, which was which was the enterprise analysis and the business model canvas. Does one still require to do a business requirement specification after doing those model techniques?
Good question. Yes. So like I said before, most times these are done even before we even move into requirement analysis. So once this is done, you can now, like I said, you have now identified the business need. You now have your business goals and outcomes. You have identified a strategy and solutions. Then we move into requirements, analysis and requirement specification. So the answer is yes, Matimo. Great question. Barbara says, as an ex-lead BA for a medium-sized company, I was privileged to perform the EA role. This was deemed a strategic BA, working closely with the board to achieve the organizational vision. However, most public sector have specific senior personnel for EA roles. How would you propose transitioning into an EA role, which is a strategic BA role? Definitely, I would say within the project that you're currently doing, if you're not in a strategic role as a BA, maybe you're more on the operational level, I would definitely say finding opportunities to move into those kind of projects would be fantastic within your organization. let your manager know that, you are looking to do more strategic work. And of course, try to showcase that try to showcase the knowledge that you have in regards to strategic techniques, and bring those up even with your day-to-day operational projects that you're probably working on, or initiatives. Create something like a business case, something that looks like that, create something that looks like a model canvas, just trying to showcase that you actually know the techniques and you're looking to do something in a strategic level. And of course, apply for those positions if they come up within your business. I have seen titles like as well as strategic consultant. I have seen titles like management consultant. These are roles that are very, very strategic, as well as strategic BA roles as well. Where can you find business case templates? Yeah. Where can you find the various business templates? Actually, there's a lot of templates online. There's a lot of templates online. There's a lot of BA websites that provide, BA websites, management consulting websites that provide this template for you, that you can just download and use for your own projects. Yeah. I'm curious to know, so aside from Barbara, has anyone else used any of the techniques, in their roles, in past or present roles?
That seems to be all the questions and comments right now, apart from the last one from Matemo that just came in. She says, I always make use of a business case. It would be good to try others.
We also have a question from Ashley. He's asking, after a business case is done, is there need for approval from the business to proceed?
Yes. So basically, the business case would be tendered to your sponsor or your board, depending on who has the governance, over your project. So most times it's the sponsor, and it needs to be approved and signed. So typically, the last section of the business case would be where the BA signs off, and maybe the project manager as well might sign off, and then of course your sponsor would sign off. But that would be after a meeting has been held, and of course you've had that conversation. Great question.
I think those were all the questions that we had from the floor.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really had fun doing this. And I hope that you were able to learn something too as well. Thank you everyone for having me. Thank you, IABA South Africa.
Thank you so much, Eno. It was very awesome, and it was great to have you here with us. It's been a long journey to have you here with us, but we're so glad that you were able to come through and share with us your wisdom and your knowledge around this area. And yeah, so thank you so much. And I think with the rest of the community, they just thanking you. We're seeing a lot of comments of people just, appreciating your presence with us tonight in South Africa. Thank you so much, and have a good evening, everybody.